And we've talked about Bryce Young is the reason that they are who they are. He's the reason that they're the number 1 team in the country, now the number 3 team in the country, that they find a way to win. So not having him and still getting this win, losing the turnover battle 4-1, I think says a lot about this Alabama team. Now, I've had the injury that Bryce Young has.
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you if you've had it.
I couldn't lift. It was throwing arms, same deal. I couldn't lift my arm to brush my teeth without wanting to cry in pain for 2 weeks.
Yep.
I was able to come back 3 weeks later, and I don't even remember how many shots they put in my arm. But it is a tough injury to get through because that's what he does. He's throwing the ball. It's not like, oh, it's muscular or what have you. It is a structural damage, and it is painful. What do you got, Felder?
I was going to ask, because here's the thing. The difference between you and me, I've had it as well, but I played safety.
Right.
So we put the Douglas restraint on, so your arm never goes above here. And it's all about pain management, right? They'll give you a couple of those 800 mg ibuprofens, maybe they give you a shot, and you can rock and roll. But as a quarterback, you have to be able to feel that whole thing. So can you give us 30 seconds on like what that's like as a quarterback to handle that? Because they bought him a week of not having to play.
Right. And well, this is the whole deal. Not only are you mentioned you're wearing a strap that can let it go to here, and maybe on a given play, you're going up to make a play, you're making a tackle, and it goes farther than that and it hurts like hell.
Yeah.
But you can go right back down and you can kind of relax. If you are throwing the ball all game, let's say it's 30, 40 throws of actual in-game throws, you're throwing 200 throws in warm-ups, in pat and go, in all that, where you're doing a full-on 360-degree motion right there on that joint, and it is painful. And you don't have the zip on the ball. You don't have the accuracy. You can't do the things that you normally would do. There's a mental block behind it. I mean, there's a lot of things that you have to get through. So we will see how bad this injury really was. I know Bryce Young was suited up on Saturday. If he can't go this upcoming weekend, to get back to our point, I think Bama is beatable, especially by a team that's playing as good and with as much confidence as Tennessee is right now. But it all is dependent, to me, on Bryce Young, whether he's in there or not.
So let's wrap the Alabama portion of this with just putting a number on that, because I think all three of us agree there. But let's just say Alabama without Bryce Young. If you're stack ranking that team with Georgia and with Tennessee, 1 through 3, 1 being best and 3 being worst, where do you have Alabama without Bryce Young?
2.
I think 2 as well.
2, even without Bryce. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Because here's the thing: what we saw this past week was a stopgap. If they decide that they need to lean into Milroe, this offense is going to look completely different.
That's true.
And I think that's the thing we saw in the game that Young goes out. Gibbs was like, okay, I'm going to get the football all the time. And they're going to become a different football team. If they realize that he's not going to play, we got to do something different. And I think they become a different football team, but still a very good football team.
Talk about one thing that we didn't even bring up really quick, and it's kind of changing gears. How bad was the play call on the last play of the game by Jimbo Fisher in that offense? And I saw a clip that Saban drew up. He's like, we were so lucky. They got in this formation before. We ran the perfect defense. He drew it up. They had help everywhere. And they decided to throw a stop fade, aggressive defense, the last play of the game. And you're going to put – now, granted, Evan Stewart's a fantastic football player.
Sure.
But you're going to put him one-on-one and try and run a complete go ball, put your foot in the ground, try and create separation, force your quarterback that hasn't been very accurate all game to put the ball on the money on time. He was late, way outside. To me, I think that Jimbo put his quarterback and the rest of that team in a bad position on that play. I mean, this is not Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Smith or whoever.
It's not Pat. This isn't Pat Mahomes.
Right. This isn't, right? This is Haynes King, who's lucky enough to play as well as he had. We've got one play left. Hand the ball off to Devon Achane and hopefully have a shot. I mean, he's gotten 2-3 yards a pop all game. I thought it was
I'm
a really good
gonna
call.
put this out there. I feel like the hay was already in the barn. You played them tight. Tight's enough. That's enough.
But the fact that you had a play to win it and that was your play call, just put a dagger in the side of my neck.
Oh, wow.